Fifth City Council meeting come to order. Call the roll.
Abby Hansen.
Here.
John Hawkins.
Here.
Megan McFarland. Here. Matt McKinney.
Here.
Logan Welch.
Here. Pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Call for motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, item 1 is petitions, communications and requests. This is the time of the meeting that a citizen may address the council on a matter not on the agenda, except in cases of emergency. The city council will not take any action at this meeting, but may ask city staff to research the matter, have the matter placed on the agenda for a future meeting. Anyone have anything? Okay. Welcome to the, yep.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
Can you repeat that? I don't understand.
Did you-
your action? I'm sorry.
Did you, well, if you got something you wanted to bring to the council,
Sure.
come on up and
Sure.
come on up to the podium.
Got a little something prepared, so hopefully I can get through this without stuttering too much.
Well, you've only-
First and foremost, my name's Leslie. My presence at 400 2nd Street of Webster City Hall today or any other day does not grant the city or the county any permits to use my location as it can and could be connected to its internet, Ethernet, or telecommunication abilities within any means of getting permission to access or utilize my intellectual property, my e-signature, my cellular accounts or telephone numbers, biometrics, personally identifying information, or in any physical or metaphysical way. In other words, I, Leslie, should not have any internet or telephone interactiveness during my visits to Webster City Hall or the Hamilton County Courthouse and or jail. This statement read aloud at the recorded and publicized city meeting on May 5th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Central Time Zone within Iowa. I read the paper, the newspaper, the Daily Freeman Journal, in order to have a purpose to be here today. Although, as it applies to the itinerary, I don't know if it actually matched up. But my misunderstanding, I don't think, is the issue. Property values as a issue. The assessment of which the new way of configuring valuations based on the marketplace within our assessments office or within our assessor's office that omitted my existing homestead benefit I'd had on my property at 403 Prospect Street since 2014. And it increased my residential property value 4 times higher than previous assessment. And I reported that to the Iowa Attorney General for price gouging and the reason why I did that is because when I called the assessor on the matter in the first hand, he became very, he did not have a pleasant disposition. However, I was happy with the result being the fact that because of the unexplained reasoning for deletion of account history, the refusal to provide proof of annual IT maintenance, and the manner of which my concerns were addressed. After that report to the Attorney General, Hamilton County Assessor admitted to the new way of configuring based on the marketplace was actually to be applied in the previous year's assessment of Webster City properties. And he offered clear and concise answers to questions with a pleasant and professional disposition after I had turned it into the Attorney General. The consequence of his actions, the response to the new configurations were delayed 365 days. And people of Webster City weren't aware of the effective marketplace involvement.
Have you got something you bring it to, you got to do with?
Yeah,
the council?
absolutely.
This isn't anything. This is to do with the assessor's office.
This
It's
has
nothing
to do with
what's
the
sitting in.
publication in the Daily Freeman Journal, of which you guys said the nation. This would be the second hearing that I've been to that I came to it in expectancy of what the newspaper said was going to be. If in fact this isn't in compliance with what the Daily Freeman Journal published, then this.
I have no idea where it is you're talking about.
Well, what I'm talking about is what you guys are doing to my property at 403 Prospect Street. And what's advertised in the newspaper is not the truth. And I have an assessor's paper as of property taxes to prove that August 19th, when there was a publication of Mr. Rockwell's property right next to mine that was purchased from the city for $5,850, actually is still in
And we
his name.
actually dealt with this last week.
Well,
so
what
we-
exactly did we deal with, sir?
We dealt with your property last week and
Do you call it my property? Because you dismissed me saying that it wasn't.
well, it wasn't your property because it was actually not in your name, so. it's not
Sir,
your property.
I have a judgment from Judge McGlynn that
Doesn't-
says
it's
that
on
my
the
residency
assessors
proves
On
so.
the assessors website. Anyway, your time's,
I can't be dismissed,
your
sir.
time's up. You can.
My time isn't up.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Why can I not have the ability to
Because
save my
we're
home?
not, what you're talking about has nothing to do with us. So we dealt with this last week and what they're talking about assessors is assessors business. So, and you only have a limited time. This is something that's not on the agenda.
Sir, my time is no longer anybody else's concern. I just wanted to say while I'm here, I beg your pardon. The overall image of Webster City that's being put off onto property owners that are already experiencing the added pressures of Webster City's controversial decisions to approve and or contract with cooperatives and LLCs, that they have questionable intentions, if not fraudulent ambitions, and they're backed by city and county authorities, can be specifically identified within Iowa's Security and Exchange Commission. I encourage our council to consider proving their legitimacy within the sector of our state government, who are obligated to federal oversight as their sector directly affects worldwide stock markets and the efficacy of agents and agencies that enable and manage investment within them.
Leslie, we'll call it good now. Thank you. We've done enough. Okay. Would you please take a seat? Thank you.
I have nowhere to go. No way to get there. And every means by which I can call someone to assist me has been stolen from me. I get no justice. And you cut me short when I show up here to try and save my life. Of course, there aren't anything good that I have to say,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean that I don't have any kind of relevance to the situation.
No.
I hope it's most definitely understood that my location here will not be used, not ever.
Okay. Thank you. All right, we'll go to item 2 as a consent agenda. The following items have been deemed non-controversial routine actions to be approved by the council in a single motion. If a council member or a member of the audience wishes to have an item removed from this list, it will be considered on its normal sequence on the agenda. I have item A is minutes of April 21st. B is claims and the fund list. And that's it.
Move to approve collectively.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item 3, general agenda. We have public hearing on a proposal to amend the code of ordinances of City of Webster City, Iowa, pertaining to chapter 10, article 6, entitled vacant and abandoned property. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections?
No, there were not.
Are there any oral objections? Okay, I'll close the hearing. I'll call for a motion to approve. Well, anyway, we'll let you talk first.
Oh, if you want to go ahead.
No.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. So this is a proposed amendment to the current vacant and abandoned property ordinance that we have. It has come to our attention that there has been some lenience with the different zonings that the current ordinance has adopted. So planning and zoning has proposed the amendment to repeal and replace the existing ordinance to broaden the zoning classifications that this would cover. This proposed ordinance did come before you guys back in late 2024, and it did successfully get through its first and second readings. However, due to the proactiveness that the city's been trying to take with identifying those vacant and abandoned properties, we did feel that we needed to make some amendments to the proposal and put in their neglected vacant and abandoned properties. Again, this would require the property owner to register the neglected vacant properties with the city, pay a tier registration fee that increases with length of vacancy, submit a maintenance plan to prevent deterioration or public nuisances, and provide a plan and clear timeline to reoccupy or repurpose the structure. So I'm just here to, tonight to recommend the approval of the first reading of this ordinance.
Anyone have any questions for Aaron?
No.
I just have one quick question. So what went into the decision to increase the registration fee the longer the building was unoccupied?
Yep, so the reason behind that is to try to encourage property owners that are not occupying or have a intended purpose for the property other than storage or really underutilization, to hopefully encourage them to get it back into reoccupancy. And with that heftier fee, we're hoping to see that that's their goal.
Has that been used elsewhere that you're aware of?
Yes, it is common in other communities to have a vacant and abandoned property ordinance. Like I stated, we already have one. It's just this one has really, this will revamp it so that it's a stricter ordinance for us.
Move to approve.
No, hang on. I'll call.
Oh, sorry.
I'll read the-
Sorry.
Thank you. Call for motion to approve the first reading of an ordinance amending the code of ordinances for the city of Webster City, Iowa, 2019 by amending chapter 10, section 10-268 through 10-290 pertaining to neglected vacant property. Now it's open.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
All right. Public hearing on, second public hearing on proposed plan specifications, proposed form of contract and estimate of costs for the construction of the 2026 HMA improvement projects. I'll open the hearing. Are there any written objections? Yeah,
No.
any oral objections? No. I will close the hearing. Okay, Brandon?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. So yeah, after going out for bids for the HMA improvements project, we had 3 bidders: Heartland Asphalt, Manats, and Fort Dodge Asphalt. We got really good competitive bids from all 3 contractors, with lowest bid coming in from Fort Dodge Asphalt with a total of $724,084. With that being said, with this project, it consists of a mill and fill asphalt, segments of curb and gutter that will be replaced, box outs for manholes and water main valves and stuff like that. Street department staff will take care of coring out soft spots that need to be dug out and subbase removed. And also we have a few storm sewer intakes and pipes that we're currently now addressing those as we speak. So that's also part of the project. The locations of this project include Woolsey Avenue, Madison, Kathy Lane, Clark Mullenhoff, and we had 5 total bid alternatives. 3 are from the street department. They include Kathy Lane or Mary Lane, sorry, Easy Street, Webster Street, and then we had 2 areas from the Grayson Cemetery, which those also. We encourage to get them done and completed. With that being said, with the construction total of the $724,000 with the engineering, we still are around. With the study we did a couple years ago, they're recommending we spend around $1 million. We're about $130,000 shy of that, which is a good problem to have. And so John asked us to look into different avenues moving forward if we want to spend that money and to rejuvenate some asphalt projects that have been there for a while and kind of rejuvenate them and rehabilitate those, or look at some past asphalt project that we've done within the past 5 years and kind of give them another little bit of something to get them back up and going. John Haldeman here with Snyder and Associates has a presentation with some options that he'd like to present to council. We'd like to get your feedback on what you think about these options.
Well, John's coming to the podium. and we all take a collective breath. I think one thing that we can all be encouraged about is that these bids came in significantly under estimate. So we're able to continue to implement the HMA program within our budgeted amounts. Another aspect for the public to recognize is that this entire program is funded with sales tax dollars that the voters approve. So it's being directly reapplied to the roads that they are traveling on each day. I think it's something that the community really celebrates when we're able to put those sales tax dollars to work on the streets, which a bulk of the work this year will be done on streets. As we continue to take a look at our overall pavement management preservation, and because this year we do have an approximately, is it 130,000, John, remaining? Our question to you tonight is, would you consider perhaps investing in other pavement preservation practices with that 130? So, for instance, you may say, there's some concrete panels on some streets in town that I think really we'd like to replace. Go get a bid for $130,000 worth of concrete panel replacement. Another aspect of just pavement preservation overall, especially with asphalt overlay, is sealing it from time to time. My understanding is that it has not been the practice in Webster City to do a lot of sealing over overlays. That may be a preference. Some communities don't like sealing. May have just been something that wasn't budgeted for. There are several sealing options that you can apply to asphalt roads. The most common that I am familiar with is what is called a chip seal. And John, are you going over what that is in your presentation? And so he's going to talk a little bit about what that is, and then I'll add some after you get done with that. So.
Hey,
Go ahead.
Good on you, John.
Zach, if you would flip into the next slide. So this slide here is just a colorful snapshot of all of the HMA reconstruction or rehab projects we've done in the last 6 to 7 years. So green, blue, red, purple, and a pick your color. We've touched quite a few streets in town. Ignore US 20. We did not. So the reason why we want to do we're looking at pavement preservation is to extend the life of the pavement. If we spend, it's a lot cheaper to put down a preservation, rehabilitation, or rejuvenation treatment to extend that pavement life than reconstructing. There isn't enough money to reconstruct every street in town. So we're looking at ways where we can treat those streets, make them smoother, get rid of a lot of the cracking and the bird bass. Looking at different alternatives that are cheaper than the mill and fills that we've been doing or the reconstruction. And then, as John mentioned earlier, we're looking at potentially doing some chip seals or consider those. And what chip seals will do, they'll help address small cracks. So cracks less than 1/4 inch, it'll seal those up. It'll help rejuvenate the asphalt pavement that'll be underneath it. It's relatively thin, about 3/8 to 1/4 inch in thickness, whereas our mill and fills we've been doing are 3 inches. There are a number of streets in town that wouldn't be candidates for this. Streets where we have a lot of alligator cracking, a lot of failure underneath the pavement. That won't fix that, where we've got failure underneath the pavement. We could potentially come in, as Brandon and his crew have been doing the last couple of years. The city crews will come in, remove those soft areas, and they'll put a patch in, and then we'll go over there on top of that. And I think that's worked out pretty well. It's saved a lot of money in the bidding. So some features of chip seal: helps with skid resistance. We seal it up like the name entails. That helps reduce the water that's penetrating through the pavement, which gets into your subgrade, which softens the subgrade, which keeps alligator cracking going and spreading further. And it usually extends the life of the pavement by about 5 to 7 years. In some, I'll talk a little bit about the process on the next slide, but after it's applied, there's a lot of chips that are loose, so we'll have the contractor come in and sweep those, but those chips may continue to be loose for a few months. And we talked earlier, maybe the city street sweeper can come in and get rid of that. And also, if the road's smooth, this is a little bit rougher surface, so until it gets some wear, that's usually about a year, it'll ride a little rougher, ride a little noisier.
So just to add, can you go back, Zach, real quick? Oh, no, you've got the trucks coming. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Here's the process. It's a train paving operation. The tanker truck will lay the emulsion, the asphalt down, and then the rocks will spread it after that, and then the roller will compact that in. In this photos on a chip seal, taken about a year after it was put down. So looks real similar to an asphalt paved road.
So it's rough. I mean, you'll get questions on this about why are you returning an asphalt road to gravel? Because initially it will be rough. There had to be a couple applications of it, I think, on Boone or someplace else, because those have held up better in other areas. But you know, the oil's going down, it will splash on the curb a little bit or run on it. And then they'll roll that rock in with rollers coming behind it, I believe. So it's a new application. It's a new technique. As John said, the road will ride rough for that year. And it's not like you're riding on a smooth asphalt surface. It's not negative. You can see applications of it. I think most recently Jewel put some down. It was through there. I'm trying to think of other applications nearby. Seems like does the state use it? Or have you been able to confirm that?
I'm pretty sure this.
That red, if you get on the interstate and you'll hit those spots that are reddish.
Yeah.
Sort of a red rock they use.
And we had a conversation with a relatively local contractor that does chip seal, and they do have capacity this year to do the project. And their estimating number was a couple bucks a square yard less than ours, so we might be able to do more for the 130,000. And they do have the pink quartzite.
Oh, they do. That's good. Yeah. There's all types of sealing processes. There's slurries and micros and all this stuff. This with the rock and the asphalt gets ground into the pavement, and I think it helps keep that asphalt a little better for longer. But you will be applying this to roads that have been worked on relatively within the last 5 to 7 years, because those are the roads that will be in the condition that will take the seal and be able to utilize it. So.
And we've looked at I've got a couple more slides here. Potential candidates that we could look at. Ideally, what we're looking for is long stretches. You saw the paving train, so in order to get more bang for it, to be as efficient as we can, we tackle those long stretches. Here are some existing streets that may very well be candidates. First and Division, these were when Second Street was closed. These were our detour routes for the most part while that closure was occurring, so that they've seen a little bit more traffic. We would have to walk these, address if there are cracks in the pavement that are bigger than 1/4 inch. We might do some crack sealing before we do the chip seal. Next slide, Zach. And then other candidates, more of a rural location. We've got White Fox, James Street, block of 3rd Street. I think we meant to go further on 3rd, but we kind of size these to fit 130,000. And then on the original slide, Union Street, which we did, this was the first one we did, I think it's back in 2018. that surface is starting to see some small cracking, so that would be another candidate too, is to treat Union Street.
Well, it's probably worth trying. We can try it, and if we don't like it, wouldn't do it again.
If we don't like it, there's a cape seal, which is a chip seal, and you come and do a micro seal on top of that, so we could do a cape seal, just go over a 2-year period.
So after the next, we can do a pavement study, and we can, sell ourselves as the pavement study company.
Maybe they'll do it for free.
Yeah.
So has the process of doing the chip seal changed at all over the years? I know, maybe a decade ago, some of the complaints were that first year, if the rock isn't nice and uniform, you get tar up on people's vehicles and things like that. So
Yeah.
I know I've seen that years ago. I don't know if the process has changed at all.
It's improved a little bit, but you still may get that.
And that was the one thing we did discuss as we were all three talking is, you get, hey, I live in town, I don't want to live on a gravel road.
Right.
Like he said, it's gonna take a month or stuff or so before that loose rock, we sweep it up and it all becomes stuck down. So it's a process and it takes time. You gotta buy in. That's what you need to be aware of.
But in regards to the tar on the cars, that should only be 3 to 4.
That'll happen early.
I mean, it
Yeah.
won't be,
Yeah,
it'll only be a few hours
yeah,
So
traffic will be back on that street.
the same
that
day.
afternoon.
Yeah.
They'll do that in the morning.
I remember it happened to me, and a trick is to use WD-40. It wipes right off of your car, in case anybody wants to
All the
know.
contractors do. Yeah,
It's fine.
so
Yeah.
That substance that they spray on people's car and it wipes right off.
It does, yeah.
So I believe we did this, I'm gonna throw out a number, 2016
Yeah, that sounds right.
on Cedar Street.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I
Right
swear.
off Broadway.
Yeah.
It got kind of some bad publicity. I think we did it the day of the fair parade, so like.
Oh.
It was a nightmare, but it was it ended up working out.
Mhm.
But that's where, that's why we're here. We want to get your feedback on. Do you envision this as something you want to see or absolutely not?
And when you were describing this, I thought, well, we've done this before, and you're right, like on
Mhm.
Cedar Street, like the 800 or 700 block or something.
It's the 800 block,
800 block Cedar, yeah.
900.
So I remember that. I remember, again, you remember the negative more than the positive. And a lot of people were like, hey, making a mess. And
Yeah.
I remember being some fear of like rain and stuff, and like, but I don't think that really matters for this. Like you can do it, I mean, pretty
It goes
quickly.
quick.
Yeah, so,
It opens back up the traffic then.
yeah, really quick.
Same day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, in essence, we have tried it before. We got a little negative feedback, but it also panned out. Like, what's the condition of that road today being 10 years? Like, for instance, on that road, you can almost see on that map, right?
But it's still,
It's still in
it's in good shape.
Between Cedar Street, between where and where?
It's Cedar, it'd be like,
Broadway,
it's probably that green spot there. Oh, no, yeah, over.
Broadway,
Yeah.
so be
The
like
yellow.
these two.
So it's in fair condition. I should have explained the color scheme here. This is from the DOT's pavement condition index. And just the color coding, blue is excellent, green is good, yellow is fair, orange is poor. Red is very poor.
So with that, I mean, again, just, I know we're using, just a color coding here, just kind of going off of their assessment. Okay, so you think fair is acceptable for the bang for the buck for 9 to 10 years?
5 to 7.
No, I mean,
You've got
I'm
5 to
saying
7, we've got 10 out of it.
We've got
It's
10
yellow,
out of
so.
it. If it happened in 16,
So,
we've got 9 to 10.
Oh,
So I'm saying is like, it's
Got
got, so kind of to kind of, I guess, make sense of it all. For the bang for the buck is pretty good for having almost a 10-year road, it's still fair condition.
very good, yeah.
Okay. I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I
I am
mean,
too. I think
Is this something that you would like to see on roads that were just done within the last 5 years? Or would you like to see something that
We'll
was
bring
done?
it back to you.
Okay.
And we'll decide.
because I think we do this in non-main thoroughways, and we do it with a lot of door knocking beforehand, too. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend this on like something we did 5 years ago, say like, I don't know, Des Moines Street or something like that. I would do it as more like residential throughways. I don't know if there's a term for that, but not the main arteries of town and smaller doses.
Local
Batches,
statutes.
yeah. But again, we can iron all that out, but yeah, I'm open to it as well.
What's the road in front of your business? We could pave that.
Yeah, you could try that.
The one gravel road in town. So, sorry to interrupt, Logan.
No,
I apologize.
I mean, that's actually a good idea, John. I mean, right.
Maybe we should, is that what we'd like to, we'll bid that out too.
He's
So.
Yeah. All right. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so call for resolution finally approving and confirming plan specifications, formal contract and estimate of costs for the fiscal year 26 HMA improvement projects, awarding contract to Fort Dodge Asphalt Company in the amount of $724,084 to complete the project, and authorizing the mayor and deputy city clerk to enter into a contract with said contractor for the project.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right, item C is motion to set a public hearing to amend the fiscal year 25 budget for May 19, 6:05 PM. Evening, Daddy.
Good evening. So as we're just setting the hearing tonight, but I can certainly answer any questions that you may have or be prepared to have something for the 19th at the hearing.
Yeah.
On the amendments. Jim.
I'm good.
Any question? Call for motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Item D is a resolution to transfer cash from various funds to other various funds, and they're not mine.
So this is just the first of 2 transfers that we have each year. We have 8 of them. We have the franchise fee from the utilities to the general fund. We have the shared services from utilities to the general fund and the special revenue benefit funds. We are going to close out 2 project funds that basically are just an in and out of the sidewalk and the bridge improvements, and put the cash back where it originated from. And then the last one is to reimburse the general fund from the road use fund for a piece of equipment that was coded incorrectly.
Okay. Call for motion.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Dodie. Item E is a resolution approving the preliminary plat for the Links Development Number 2 located in Webster City, Iowa. Ariel.
Good evening again. So this did come before council on April 21st. The city referred this back to the Planning and Zoning Commission for further consideration. Due to some questions that P&Z had initially raised. So those questions were the anticipated home price, the clarification of garage stall counts and parking, information on home layouts, and whether multiple lots could be combined for larger homes. The Planning and Zoning Commission did hold a special meeting on April 29th, and the developer did address each of those questions. And after discussion, the commission voted 6-2 to recommend approval with 1 commissioner absent. So to answer those questions for you guys, anticipated home prices are between $250,000 and $350,000. There would be 2 stall garages, and then it was like a split level home. And he did state that multiple lots could be purchased for a larger home to be built on. So with that, Planning and Zoning did recommend the approval for the revised preliminary plat, which would actually be smaller lots, and that's what the amended PRD is for. So our current code requires 60-foot lots, and this is proposing 40-foot lots. There are no direct financial costs to the city by approving this, but it does, the expectation is resulting in high increased property tax value and then also available homes. So I'm just here tonight to recommend the approval of the preliminary plat and the amendment to the PRD.
You don't have any Question.
I'm glad I went back to P and Z to take a closer look, because last time we talked about this, it was kind of like, well, what about this? What about that? And there's just a lot of information flying around. And I see we have a couple members of the commission. If there's anyone wants to make a comment on what you guys discussed, but feel free. But I trust your board's recommendation on this, and yeah, and I think if they can make a go at it, give them a shot.
Okay. Call for a motion.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Item F is a resolution approving the amended planned residential development for Links Development Number 2 located in Webster City, Iowa.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favour say aye.
Aye.
Okay, item G is the discussion on proposed purchase of street department dump plow truck. Brandon, didn't we just spend $1 million with you?
I know.
Yes.
So John asked me to bring this to council and discuss it a little bit further.
Hold on, back up. I just want to clarify. I did not. During our annual work session for the budget, we discussed the purchase of the snowplow. At that time, the council requested additional information from the street department regarding the expenditure. It is proposed to be on the 2025 GO bond this year. So thank you. I just wanted to set the table.
Let's try to start this over.
Sorry.
All right, so currently we have a 2005 Chevy. It's a mid-sized dump truck. So our single axle dump trucks typically haul 8 ton worth of material. This one can actually haul 6 ton. So it's a 2005. When it was first purchased, it was our main plow truck and our salt truck. So it's been plowing and salting our streets for over 14 years. So we all live in Iowa and we know what salt can do to our vehicles, especially with the vehicle that's actually spreading it. And so the corrosion that it adds to this truck and the vital parts to it corroded. And then when you go to work on it, stuff doesn't want to come off, and it makes it even more difficult. With this truck being a Chevy dump truck, Chevy only made this truck for so many years, and they must not have sold very many, and so they're like, okay, we don't want to do this anymore. So General Motors no longer makes parts for this truck, and there's little to no support in aftermarket parts. And so with that being said, we have to reach out to different salvage yards. Vanderhags is one of the biggest salvage yards around here. And that's whether we take it to Tony's or any other shop in here for Dodge, and they can't find me. That's who they're calling as well. So years ago when Tim Zingenbein was our mechanic, he kept telling me, I can't find parts for this thing. You better think about getting rid of it. Well, like I say in here, the appearance of it, it looks nice, right? And so, yeah, we're gonna keep running it. So we keep running it. More problems. You take it to the shop and they say we can't find parts. So this winter we're plowing snow. It was out running for an hour. It broke down. Tony took it apart, called me back. I think it was like a day or two later and said, I'm sorry, I can't find parts for this thing. If you want to take it somewhere else, you're not gonna hurt my feelings, but I just can't find anything. He goes, but I can try fabricating something on my own to get you back up and running. So that's kind of in the state that we're in with this truck. And we can kind of get it back going, but it's at what point do you want to cut ties with that piece of equipment? So for the visual, we did put a new box on it, I want to say 8 years ago. So, I mean, with this truck, we throw concrete in it every day, so it gets beat up. Constantly throwing parts at it. I do have on here, I had Jake with our department. He went through all of our old data on this, and he came up with 85,000 that we put into this truck since we've owned it. So when I called Vanderhags and I talked to John about this, is when you call these people, what's the probability of finding a part? And he was very hesitant on what to tell me, but he said it's less likely than the odds would be much similar, or you would be more likely to find a part if it was a Mack, a Peterbilt, a Freightliner, a Volvo, or an International, now your name brand trucks than a Chevy dump truck. And so just, it's the unknown factor. And so here we are, and we're at that point where do we now need to look forward into purchasing a new truck? With the new truck, with that being said, you know, one of the things we were looking into is a stainless steel body, you know, everything going stainless steel to make things last longer, not rusting. One thing we've never done before in our department is going with a side wing to plow snow. That would cut back. Right now we have two guys, we call it tag team plowing, where we would go to that one truck would take care of it all. So you kind of backing off on a little bit of overtime, one less truck running. So that's kind of exciting for us. I think it would clean stuff up with, when we round corners, it doesn't clean up very good with this truck, it would. And then also with the tailgate spreader, right now we have a piggyback spreader. So what you do is it's this big bulky thing that you put in the back of the truck. Once it goes in the back of the truck for the winter, it stays there. So that truck is pretty much non-usable for anything else. With the tailgate spreader now, those can go on and off within 5-10 minutes. So I can go plow. And actually with this truck, if I wanted to, I could take that tailgate spreader off. I can go haul snow with it for the next 5 hours if I wanted to. So it's a multi-use tool that we can use throughout the whole winter. But also I understand comes with a price tag, and that's by no means am I wanting to spend unnecessary money. But I think moving forward, there's just that we're at that point, we're at the crossroads now with that truck. Is do we want to keep limping it along, or do we now want to invest in something we can confidently say that it's going to be reliable, and we don't want to fabricate parts and move forward with that. So just curious on your feedback and how you view those kind of facts on what we've been working with here recently. So
I think it sounds like we need it.
Yeah.
I know with dump trucks, I always say dump trucks and loaders are the two most prime pieces of equipment that we use in our community. And I mean, yes, it comes out of our department, but cemetery uses it, line department uses it. We all help each other out. So somebody's got something they can use, go ahead and take it and have it. So
It sounds like you guys have done your diligence of trying to find parts over the last several years, and it's at that stage where, yeah, it's a big chunk, but if we have to spend it, we do.
I agree.
I agree. It needs to be done, I think.
One question on the wing, the kick out wing, how you call it?
side wing.
Side wing, yeah. So if you know, the only downside of that, I guess, is just like all your eggs in one basket then, but we'd still have the graders or the whatever you.
So what we would do, just like every other piece of equipment, we kind of like, now the truck that was, so we have our two main salt trucks. Now the truck that we would kind of get rid of, now the truck would be moved down. So for the last 7 years, we kind of have this backup truck. So if one truck goes down, it used to be like, hey, call Peterson and call this person, we need to borrow something. Now we have something in a line of defense as a backup. So we kind of are in control of our own destiny. So
It folds up out of the way too.
No, and I'm saying if, like, you know, how you say like we had two trucks out there, well now all of that capabilities in one, but like you're saying we have the backup trucks, we probably still have the road graders that come behind anyway. So
Yep.
Cool. Oh, very good. And great homework on this. And I when I first read the memo, I'm like, oh yeah, and what you've shared tonight, it does make more sense. Some of the features that probably made it cost more, but it makes more sense.
I give a lot of credit to a lot of our, shops in town. They've been very helpful with us. They've done nothing but bend over backwards to help us. And so they've been very helpful getting our truck back on the road. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you put something for us on?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was waiting for a motion or something. So tonight I'm going to give you a brief update on where Riverview Daycare is. Not really in general, but mostly for the development of a new center. So as long as I've been on the council, going on 12 years now, I've also served on the Riverview Daycare Board and as a liaison to the city. And we've had our ups and downs over 12 years, but one thing we've always ran into metaphorically and literally is we kind of geographically couldn't go anywhere, So a couple years back, we started down the path of designing a new facility. And just a quick little brief history kind of got us up to today is I think it's 20-ish, 22. We worked with outside consultants, developed a business plan, got together kind of an idea of what we need for this space. We've been working with Altura, sorry, in Mason City for design and size. So right now we have a capacity of about 90 kids, and we are maxed about all the time. So the facility we designed can house a little over twice that, give or take, depending on how you orient a couple rooms or tack on a room here or there, or utilize the space. So in the summer of 2024, we set a fundraising goal for $6 million. And within 6 months, we've got almost halfway there, which is amazing for anyone who has donated, helped donate anywhere from buying a spaghetti dinner to 6-digit donation, so across the board, different levels of philanthropy and support. So I appreciate that very much. But today, we are still hovering around that halfway point to our original goal. So currently, the Riverview Board is deciding, okay, what do we want to do? Do we want to downsize our building a little bit? Maybe there's some aesthetic things we can cut, some nice to haves, not need to haves. One very unique thing about Riverview is we have a gym. A lot of daycares in the country, not just Iowa, but don't really have a gym because we used to be a school. It's one thing we love to have, and we use it for a ton of different things, whether it be chorus concerts or just activities for the kids when it's not ideal weather. So that's one thing, we might be able to cut. So basically where we're at right now is we're kind of at a standstill. We're like, okay, what do we do? Do we start kind of honing corners a bit on our design? Or do we just keep hitting the pavement and keep fundraising? And my board is working on both efforts to keep that fundraising going. And at this point, the plan is to just keep raising money until we can build the center Riverview needs. So again, this would be located on the old hospital hill on top of it. Wouldn't take up much of a footprint as it sits today, but much more to come. But anyway, I just wanted to update the council on where we're at. We are seeking funding from outside sources than just private donors. So in the past, we were applying for a grant that did not allow any government involvement, at least financially, cash wise. Right now, we take anything, so government or non-government. So if you know anybody or know of an organization that wants to get involved, please reach out, because again, we're at that stage right now where we know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of what it's going to look like, how much we're going to grow, and how much we're going to take on in debt. So yeah, that's where we're at. Any questions? I'd be happy to entertain. I know it's kind of a high level discussion, but there might be, like, what are you doing about this or whatever? I'd be happy to answer them.
As the design firm, kind of looked at it as if you were gonna cut back, how could we do part 1, part 2, part 3, if you wanted to add a gym later, if they looked at how they could revise the design for that.
One of the smartest things we did, and we took this from advice of our consultants, is we broke up into subcommittees, and we have a buildings committee, and they're a strong subcommittee. They work very close with Altura. And matter of fact, our president serves on that board and communicates with them a lot. So we've had a bunch of different mock-ups and what that would look like. And right now, as it sits, the building that we want to build has the capability of not necessarily tacking on the gym later, but definitely more rooms. So we're building it to be a bolt-on center that if our center goes from 80 kids to 160, great. It still might take a few years to fill, even though we have a very long wait list. And I don't think that would take very long to fill, but we might hit that in the future too, where we max out. Well, then what? So we've designed a facility with hallways, bathrooms, window orientation, parking lot orientation, in consideration of adding on in the future. But in phases, that's the thing. It's kind of economy of scale. It's like you kind of got to get, your HVAC system, your electrical system, the roof, proper roof, the way we have it looking today, there's gonna be some kind of unique architecture too when it comes to the beams and stuff. So it's kind of like you got to build it like that, but it's meant to be built it on later. So phases wise, not so much, but expansion wise, yes.
Do you know, may I ask a question there? Do you know when, revised drawings might be available to us for review just on, so we have an understanding of what the building will be now, and then also how it might be configured on the lot that the council indicated some interest in.
Yeah.
I think as early as we can get involved in that, because we do see some planning issues come up from time to time. Not saying there will be, but it'd be helpful to know, because there's been some mock-ups, I think,
Yeah.
and then that's changing.
Possibly. We don't know.
Okay.
It only needs to change if we don't raise enough money.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the thing. The goal is still the goal.
Okay.
If as any, person that looks at a piece of paper long enough and that the numbers aren't lining up, and this has to happen. I mean, it has to happen for Webster City. We're maxed out. We would just have to concede some nice to haves is all. We can give you mock-ups, but just let me ask, like, in you want mock-ups to see what we may be able to provide Riverview as the city, or we just want to see what it's looking like?
We wanted to see what it would look like.
Like on the site, so we know, because they're
decided it would be.
Yeah. And we're probably thinking the furthest to the west, I mean, just for grading issues.
not like a conceptual rendering, that'd be fine, that'd be helpful, but also like, where is it gonna sit on that lot?
Yeah.
So we can.
Yeah, we can give you that. I mean,
Because I think the original concept thing was right in the middle of the whole thing.
yeah, and it wasn't even to scale. So yeah, I mean, again, that was just
Yeah, and that's
Cut and
fine,
paste,
because that's,
That was a
$3 million, so.
yeah, that was a fundraising capital campaign. I mean, it's still accurate. It's still to scale if you take it, just look at the building, but when you take it to Hospital Hill, it wasn't scale. But yeah, we can let you know kind of what it looks like. The only thing I would ask, tied to the pledge from the city, and by the way, the city is graciously, given a plot of land. We don't really know that size, but a chunk of land somewhere there. And again, if you wanted to know how that's gonna look, great. But the one thing that we got to keep in mind is if we do want to bolt on rooms in the future, we might go, hey, if this is cool this way now, then maybe we want to just keep it open to go east or west based on what those rooms might have to be bolted on, or put a parking lot in a different spot or whatever. So I guess what I'm getting at is it's a chunk of clay right now based on how much we want to either go in debt or how soon we want to build it. We could start today if we absolutely had to. We could start today with a very abbreviated center because of the fundraising efforts and the gracious donations from the community. But again, we just want to do it right. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't, because you're gonna give us, I would expect us to see what it's gonna look like. As the full,
The whole thing?
6 million thing
Yeah.
that's gonna be, because it was just really where it was positioned on the lot. It was
Yeah.
sort of sat in the middle of it.
Yeah,
And so we want, and like you just said, if it's to the west, that's good, because then we can figure out how
Yeah.
much of that land.
We'll tell you what I'll do then.
Sort of thing, so.
Our next meeting, I'll ask the building committee to do that, to provide a to scale. Well, obviously this is through our design firm,
Yeah.
to scale mock-up on the far west edge of that lot and just see kind of what that looks like.
Mhm.
With parking and everything. Because again, even the parking is being honed down to a fine point.
Yeah.
If we orientate the parking lot a certain way, it actually saves us money and this, that. So I'll try to get our most current, up-to-date mock-up to scale on the west side so you guys can see what it looked like.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess I say all this, there's a lot of excitement behind it. Again, we're super pumped. Our center has made do with a very old school building for years. And again, we're just excited to keep pushing forward on it, and hopefully it starts sooner than later.
We can have you've got another old school building you could have.
Yeah. So anyway, thanks for the opportunity to fill you guys in what's going on. Everyone can hear the same thing at the same time, so I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Zach, over to you.
Speaking of old school buildings, you guys are now the owners of the Hilltop School. Congratulations. We also have done those two. We had 2 trials this last month on abandoned properties, and we have 3 more now. in the queue that are working their way through various stages of city obtaining title to those as well. Mike Scott's stuff we dealt with last meeting, so you guys are familiar with that at 408 Grove. And then Parks and Rec Department asked us to, with all the new various sporting events going on for the youth, Parks and Rec asked us to do liability waivers for all those events, so we've taken care of those for them as well. So that's the month in a nutshell.
Okay.
They have an exciting new golf program they're gonna open up this summer too. So for kids, I think they're working with the Lynx, Briggs Woods, and there's a foundation in town that supports youth golf. So
That's cool. They started track and field tonight because I dropped it, walk off of that, and there's a ton of kids.
Good.
So
We've got a few high school political class here tonight.
some of them snuck out early, so.
A couple left early. I'm not sure they're gonna, they might come again.
Reporting them.
Did they tell you you've got to stand up and give us a 5-minute speech? No, well, that's all right. We'll let you off tonight since we're wanting to adjourn.
John, you're so mean.
Motion to adjourn. And if you need a signature or something, come on up. We'll do it.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
I.
Yeah.
Good. Maybe.